everybody, and welcome back to this next installment in the fun 5 weeks summer saxophone challenge. Hopefully for the last few days you've been practicing the melody to footprints and you've transcribed it yourself using the original recording by Wayne Shorter, link in the description below, or my slightly more simplified version where I play it a little bit more slowly and it's isolated in the previous short video that I published a few days ago, link also down here in the description. So for a few days you've been playing this now, you've transcribed it yourself, and hopefully you have this whole melody kind of perfectly both in your head and in your hand so you can play it. And that means that we are ready for the next step. And kind of the combined steps that we've taken so far is something that I like to call respecting the melody. So that's always kind of the start. You listen to the music, just listening to it, different recordings, getting kind of a feel for the song up to the point where you can really hum it and really you know the song just like you know any other song from the hit parades. And then you start transcribing it and playing it yourself, really sticking to the original melody. And that way, after a few days, sometimes a few weeks, you end up just having a really good feel for the song and being able to play the melody kind of perfectly. And when you get there, it's time for the next step, which I like to call stretching the melody. Now, what does that mean, stretching the melody? Well, it kind of, maybe self-explanatory. What you do is you take this, initial mastery or this initial capacity that you have now with the melody, and now we're going to start slowly stretching that melody a little bit, getting a little bit creative with that. So we're going to leave the melody behind just a little bit, but still keeping it as kind of a safe place to return to. And so the exercise for this, for the next few days, is to take one of the play-along recordings that I also put in the descriptions below. There's several of them in different tempos, so it's kind of fun to explore playing it in different versions that way. And you're going to be playing the melody over those play-along recordings, but you're going to slightly change it. So you're going to start to get a little bit creative with the melody without looking at the chords or the harmony, without intellectualizing everything, getting all brainy with the music theory yet. We're going to do that in the next step. But for now, you just want to kind of take your own first interpretations of the melody, have a little creative fun with it by stretching it a little bit. So where you would play, the first and second line, something like this. Now you'll try to make it into something maybe a little bit like this, for example. And so you can hear that it's still kind of close to the melody. It's not really a solo yet, but it's just a fun way to go beyond the melody by starting to stretch it a little bit and explore a little bit what some other options might be, and kind of put your own interpretation there, just purely creatively, without thinking it through, but just going by your feeling, going by your intuition, and seeing what you can do with it, without getting all technical and brainy, and we'll save that for the next lesson. But for now, you want to kind of have fun with the song that you learn. So you have a little mastery over the melody. Now it's time to stretch it. And so for the next 2-3 days, I want you to basically take some of these recordings, use all 3 of them, that's totally fine. And basically what you do is you alternate between playing the melody, kind of as perfectly as possible, and then stretching the melody. So you're doing one round of playing the melody as it is, as you've transcribed it, and then you're doing one round of stretching a little bit. And then you play it, as you transcribed it again, and you just keep alternating those. And you'll see that over the next 2 days, that gives you a much different feeling about the song. Many of your kind of stretchings will already sound maybe a little bit like an actual solo. There's lots of soloists out there who actually kind of mainly use these techniques, who really like to kind of stay close to the melody, So Louis Armstrong, for example, the famous trumpet player, is somebody, if you listen to his solos, he's somebody who generally likes to improvise really kind of close to the melody. That's kind of what he does. He stretches the melody a little bit, and that can work really, really well. So before we really dive into the more complex solo building, let's say, or really technically playing over the chords and stuff like that, this is a really great way to kind of get into the freedom zone with the music, let's say, and take the original material and then just kind of take your own variations on that, make your own take on that, and start to learn and get comfortable with being more creative with the material. And very important, when you're doing this, it's totally okay to make lots of mistakes. So, this isn't a performance, this is just a practice. It's you experimenting with the song, just having fun. So it's nothing serious, and you will find that especially during this exercise, you'll kind of, go up a lot of dead ends, and sometimes it won't sound so good, and sometimes you'll, maybe discover even really cool licks that you might want to memorize, write down later. But just remember, it's totally okay to make lots of mistakes with this. That's what stretching the melody is all about. It's about exploration. It's about seeing what else you can do with this material without getting all brainy about it. So I hope you'll enjoy this exercise for the next few days. Have a lot of fun with it, and see you in 2-3 days when we're going to dive a little bit more, more brainy, more technically into what chords we're actually playing and some exercises that we can do with that. So have fun, good luck, and talk to you again in a few days.